Salutations everyone, this is Razorbeam guys in their Overwatch video, where today I'm going to be talking about one of the hard carry heroes in competitive right now. Now there's a couple of others out there, Reaper being the main one if you played any matchmaking in the past few months. He heals himself, does a ludicrous amount of damage. If he's unchecked, he'll just delete things and has an ult that will rip you apart. We've seen this time and time again on pretty much any map and any team comp. Reaper destroys in competitive. He's a god because people love to just brawl face up, no communication, poor tank play, and those are all things that Reaper eats up. And he doesn't need much health. If he gets hacked by Sombra, who's great right now, he's fine. He doesn't need a healer to pocket him because he heals as he damages, and people don't really call him out. People don't use Brig to stun him before he can fade away, and people don't use long-range damage effectively in order to mitigate what kind of impact he can have on a fight. And he can teleport around. People don't look for him, people don't call out for him. And Sombra is, of course, great right now. But Mei is a hidden boss, just a beast in competitive, as you'll be able to see in this video from the 3 points of view that matter. Being a Mei, playing against a Mei, and playing with a Mei. Now, I'm not much of a Mei player myself, but it's not hard to see how easy it is to take advantage of how poorly people play as a team in this game, even at the higher levels, even of Masters. Mei just destroys. Whenever I see a Mei on the enemy team, they absolutely clean up. She has a very fast charging ultimate. She'll destroy me if I'm Lucio. She can shut down like a lot of DPS. She can shut down tanks. She's a great answer to D.Va, so she can't defense matrix her endothermic blaster. And her ultimate is easy to follow up on. She'll get guaranteed kills and is one of the best duelists for, you know, low-level players out there who might not have the best aim with the snipers or have the best game sense with McCree or the right amount of tracking or timing to be good with Soldier or Tracer. Mei, if you've played any 1v1s, is kind of a staple pick because you get up, you freeze them, and then you get the easy free headshots. And in matchmaking, her wall is where you get a lot of her value. Splitting the team off, which is so easy to do in uncoordinated teams, you'll win a team fight before the team fight even happens. She has a very fast charging ult that has a huge AoE that'll cover any objective in the entire game, and she's gotten buffs to her alternate fire to make her a bigger threat at long range targets, as well as doing any damage to anything that she might have her sights on, something that's slept, something that's frozen, something that is CC'd in any way. Mei is going to be able to do huge damage against it, and splitting off a team with the wall is so easy. Charging up ult is very easy. She's able to survive by able to block herself and wall off ultimates, as well as just walling off big damage output out there. And as you can see, playing with a Mei, you're able to track people down and rush them so incredibly easily. With speed boost with Lucio and a Mei and a Reinhardt, you can pretty much tear anybody apart as long as those 3 players are kind of on the same page. Take advantage of the Lucio speed boost, which Reins don't often enough since so few people play Lucio and even fewer people play him correctly. With Mei, we're just able to isolate target after target after target. So, to the point where no one else really has to do anything. You don't need big team wipes. You just need to get, just a few kills now and again. So I'm going to speed the Mei up. She's going to get the ice wall. She's going to get her ult out. And we're going to get another split spawn kill here off the 2 most important characters on any team, the main tank and the main healer. And if you're able to speed boost Mei in with a shield in front of her or even behind her, she walls someone off. A walled off target is gold whenever you are a Reinhardt or a Hog. They can't run away from you. You can charge into the wall, swing against them. People always underestimate what kind of damage Reinhardt can do. And Mei is she can be a frontline attacker if you need her to be. Because of her ability to self-sustain herself. As long as she gets just a little bit of help sometimes, she can beat even the more coordinated of teams if they do not have an answer. Now, one of the best answers against Mei is, I feel, a Sombra, because when a Mei is hacked, she can't wall and she can't cryo herself, and that was really her means of escape when she comes up against a DPS threat. And with Sombra's ability to isolate her without any of those cooldowns, she's going to have to end up on relying on that endothermic blaster or really good icicle headshots in order to be successful. But just with the Mei there, of my ability to help our Mei carry, she didn't have to do anything. You don't need like great aim, great control, just decision making, and sometimes having your team take advantage of that. Now here on the other side, this Mei was destroying us on the defense, on Streets phase of Numbani. Not something that you see very often, but in the uncoordinated era of matchmaking, which seems to be never ending unless there, gets some sort of role queue or some sort of like team queue or something that incentivizes people to play the way the game should be played instead of just 6 people all in it for themselves trying to play DPS and failing without running a sort of strategy or knowing what the win condition is. Mei's always going to be a good pick. I feel like she always has been. Same with Sombra. But Mei is kind of a lot more easier to pick up and play. You don't have to worry about target acquisition or having your team follow up on a hack or worrying about being a Reaper player and thinking, all right, I have to kill everything, otherwise my teammates are just going to crumble on themselves. Because Mei can get one kill and secure herself with the wall and the cryo. She has one of the fastest charging ults out there. It's a huge ult, especially in matchmaking. It synergizes well with so many other ultimates out there, and this Mei was just walling us off the spawn. I can't control how my tanks are moving, and Mei's ability to freeze a Rein, freeze a Zarya, freeze a D.Va or a Winston, that's something that no one else can really do as consistently as Mei. Yeah, we know that Reaper quote-unquote destroys tanks, right? Whenever there's a Winston that's wrecking, people are like, oh, we need a Reaper to answer to that. And sometimes that can work depending on the map, even though a good Winston player isn't going to be just fodder for any kind of Reaper out there. But for the most part in matchmaking, in the bottom 99%, from bronze all the way to masters even, people fall victims to Mei constantly, time and time again, to where I feel like whenever she's on my team or on the enemy team, her win percentage is higher than any other out there. And, we are able to, get through this Streets phase, but that Mei stopped us for so long, seemingly by herself, or at least not by herself, but her utility with those walls and that fast charging ultimate ate so much clock off of the timer that we end up losing this game and not able to capitalize on that third point. She can... Obviously, we've all known that she's the best stall character out there, which not enough people switch to, whether you're on Hanamura second point or Route 66 second point. Not enough people switch to Mei. More people would switch to something like Reaper or something like Doomfist, which doesn't have nearly the consistency even in Overwatch League in the pro scene as much as a Mei does, because she can get on the point, wall herself off in a corner, and then cryo, or cryo and then wall herself off. Her wall can stop so many ultimates from having their maximum value, whether it be gravitons, whether it be barrages or hammer downs. She has the ability, kind of like Defense Matrix, to kind of just stop huge bursts, huge cooldowns, and huge ultimates, to where this Mei was able to just almost single-handedly just stay on the payload, freeze our tanks, and not, she doesn't have to get kills. Your Mei isn't going to be carrying by getting 4 gold medals. She's going to be carrying by isolating teams off and making team fights not happen because she already stopped it. By cutting off the Reinhardt from all healing resources and any sort of damage follow-up, by stopping a Lucio from, wall riding all over the place, or a Moira, or a Mercy that's trying to keep people up. She kind of has very little counterplay to her. Yes, she is slow, is going to be reliant on some of her abilities, but since so many people are terrible at dive and terrible at isolating targets and focus firing, Mei completely destroys in the bottom 99% of matchmaking, and I don't see enough people taking advantage of her. She's super duper quick and easy to play in a vast variety of circumstances, has a very powerful ult that's always going to be useful. She's going to have some damage, but the utility of the walls and the blizzard, that kind of value is just not something that you can replicate with other heroes on the roster nearly as quickly, consistently, or effectively as Mei can. Especially when she gets some help from Lucio or Reinhardt or Zarya or anything, someone to follow up on the plays that she's able to make. She's a hidden boss. She certainly is. And if people continue to not pay attention, they're going to get left out in the cold.